Now these 6-wheel drive Pinsgowers are one of the most capable off-road vehicles ever made. So we decided to see if we could turn one into the ultimate expedition camper. But its biggest downfall is that you can't stand up inside.
Which is why we built our own pop-top roof. Now this is the most technical job we've ever done. So let's take you back and show you how we got here.
Now first came the daunting task of cutting out the roof. Then we needed to reinforce the great big hole we just made with a new steel frame, which also gave us the structure to build the base onto and gave John his first proper go on the TIG welder. Next we needed a roof and the way for it to actually open. After a trip to the powder coaters came the nerve-wracking task of installing it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm absolutely bricking it. The exciting part was getting it popping. Look at the latch. And the satisfying part was making the bed frame and getting that working too. And this week we fit the last piece of the puzzle, the canvas, and find out if all our hard work is gonna pay off.
But first things first is we need to find some shelter, because surprise, surprise, it's windy. But there's two things I love about this old girl. The thud of the solid old door, and the roar of the rattly old engine. Beautiful.
So the first job we need to do is to give ourselves a level surface to attach the canvas to. Now the top is perfect, but down the bottom here, where we've made it out of 2 pieces and riveted them together, the back of the rivets is protruding. So we're getting around that with some 5mm rubber that we've punched some holes in and then put some double-sided tape on the back. We're going to stick that over the top and level out the surface.
And then now we've got the rubber on, comes the
Precarious bit.
scary part. So we've got to put the self-adhesive Velcro onto the rubber and onto the top, and then hope that Jess's measurements are right. Now, what tape measure did we use to measure it? We didn't know about the tape measure trick before this, did we?
Let's hope it wasn't one of the red ones.
As long as it wasn't one of your DIY ones.
So this Velcro doesn't just help us get it on, but is also what really makes the main part of the seal for us. And then the pop rivets are really just there to hold all the Velcro together. And that's how they did it on the alloy cab, and it did a good old job. So hopefully this will work nicely too. Well, it is the moment of truth. I don't know how well this is going to go or how much you're going to see, but wish me luck and apologies in advance for the potty mouth, which is likely to be unleashed. Just scared of falling off the end of the bed.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll come down with the
Oh God, you just hit me in the head.
I'll come down with the roof.
Scared the Jesus out of me. Right.
Right, yeah, I'll come down with that.
Well, I am buzzing. So far, so good. Now we just have to hope we can find all the holes to get the rivets in. Now are you ready for the grand reveal? Fire up the beats, Johnny boy.
What do you think? It's a beauty.
Now we ran out of daylight last night to be able to show you it properly, so we thought this morning, for one last time, we better put her up. So get it up, Johnny boy, get it up. So the first thing you're probably going to notice, because we've got to show you all the features, is she's got a bungee.
You want the bungee? So you know I think every bungee is a vital piece of equipment. Well, this one actually is. Because what it does is it creates a bit of tension on the canvas, so it pulls the canvas in when you're pulling it down, so it doesn't get caught on the gas struts or on the seal or anything like that. But if you wanted to have like windows open or anything, all you can do is just jump up and then pull the bungee down like that. And this is where the old fire truck comes in handy, the old 6 wheels, because make plenty of good steps.
And that gutter makes a lovely little grip handle as well, doesn't it?
But yeah, you just pop them down like that. And there's still plenty of tension on the canvas with it down, so you can run it off or on, basically.
If it was windy, though, I think I'd probably leave the bungee on because it give you that extra bit of tension.
And to be honest, I think it looks a bit better like that anyway, with the old bungee feature.
What, you reckon it's a bit styling, do you? A bit bungee styling. I think my thing that I really like about it, though, is because we can leave it up, we can still open it and close it without having to come outside if it's rubbish weather. So that's a big win compared to the alloy cab.
And then you saw how we were fixing it yesterday with rivets. Well, what we've done is we've got some stainless steel washers that go on the outside, and that just spreads the load, and it looks nice and neat as well. And then that's on the outside at the bottom and the inside on the top, because that gives us our best weatherproof seal.
Now, it's a good job that I was in charge of doing the measurements for this, because it's come out absolutely perfect size, and it is something the company have done a really great job with as a finish on that. I'm also over the moon with this finish around the edge here. I'm quite proud of myself for that carpeting and finishing idea, because I do think it looks pretty good. One thing that I'm not so excited about though is the actual canvas fabric that it's made with. It's quite thin, and I am a little bit worried about how it's going to wear, especially in comparison to the alu cab, which I know we dribble on about a lot, but it's all we've got to compare it to. So in that, when you were upstairs, even if it was like broad daylight, really sunny day, you couldn't see through it. Whereas this one, you do see quite a bit of daylight coming through, so there'll be less sleep-ins. One of the benefits to it being thin is that it was only 2 kilos, which I think the alu cab one would have weighed a lot more than that.
Now, if you are in the bedroom and you wanted to have the window open, the bungee is there to add to the scene. So just picture this. You've got a nice, beautiful mountain, you've got the sun setting, and the bungee's in there as well. Look.
Blocking the view and ruining it.
But if you're a weirdo and don't want that in your shop, then all you've got to do is just drop it down like that. And then we've got this off-cut bit of ratchet strap, which you just pull down like that. It's riveted to the top, and that's what we're going to use to pull the roof down from the inside, so we don't have to go outside. And then lastly, we got the bug mesh on all the windows all round, and we paid extra for the bigger windows because, well...
You got to make the most of those penthouse views, boy.
Yeah, when you're in something like this, you want it as big as you can, don't you? But we're not too impressed with the bug mesh because it's quite big holes. It's more of a fly mesh than a mozzie mesh. And the zips as well. They're decent zips, but they're not real heavy duty ones, and they snag every now and again when you're opening and closing them. And I know it sounds we're being a bit princessy here, but it's because we've tried another product. That's the pro and con to trying different things, is you want to take all the good and put them into one. But the fact that we built this all ourselves, the fact that we sent off to get this made and they didn't see it and measure it all up themselves, overall for a Mark 1, it's brilliant. We're over the moon with it anyway. Now, if you watched last week's episode, you'll know that I bought my special Jessica a little surprise for the post, but unfortunately, it didn't come in time, did it?
I've literally been having nightmares all weekend about it.
Jess is buzzing to see it, aren't you, Jess? No. Without further
it's
ado...
literally making my back clench.
Well, you never know.
Oh no!
Close your eyes, close your eyes.
I don't feel safe. There's no chance that this is flowers or chocolate or something nice, is it?
Open your eyes.
Oh, they're disgusting.
She steals my Crocs all the way through winter, so I thought it's about time you had your own, because I had to get a new set too, because I'm running on slicks at the minute, got no grip. So there you go, there's your own special pair.
I mean, they're absolutely heinous. I don't know if you know how much I hate John's Crocs, but I never thought I'd be so glad as to receive a pair.
Some of the suggestions you sent through
no, they cannot be repeated.
sounded similar to Crocs, but you've got to take a letter out. The R out, you take the R out. Everybody's saying Jess wants a pet rabbit as well, so I don't know where that comes
stop
from.
now.
Everybody's saying that Jess loves honey. Do you love honey? I've never seen you eat honey. Everyone's quite impressed with your second name as well.
Oh.
Because they heard it last week. Now, Jess's second name is Horn, but what's even more funny is her middle name, because it's Jessica Joy Horn.
As my friend lovingly said to me once, at least if you ever want to become a porn star, you don't have to change your name.
Old Jo from Van Love will be impressed, won't she?
I'm so sorry, Jo, I've let you down.
She loves a pair of
She
Crocs.
hates them as much as me. Oh, tragedy, they're too big, you'll have to take them back.
Oh, look at that. Turn to the side.
Are you going to zoom in?
Oh, look at them.
I've reached a new low in life. Oh my God. Now, unfortunately for me in this instance, we use Surfshark, who are the sponsor of this week's video. And using Surfshark means that nothing you do online can be monitored, tracked or stored, or linked to your identity, which is essential for maintaining your privacy and safety online, but not so good for helping me check up on what he's been up to.
Now, Surfshark keeps you and your information safe from cyber criminals and big companies because it's a VPN, which means virtual private network. Now, this does two main things. First, it encrypts, which basically means disguises, all the information that's sent from your device to the internet. And second, it changes your real location for a new virtual location, which means things like your city and your download history can't be linked to your identity.
Being able to change your virtual location has some other perks too, other than just improving your safety. like being able to access Netflix libraries from different countries, getting cheaper holiday deals, and accessing things that might be blocked in your country, like when you travel, being able to access BBC iPlayer. You can try Surfshark risk-free because they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you get an extra 4 months for free if you go to surfshark.com/trueblue or you click on the QR code.
Now, you might be thinking, what on earth are we doing putting this dash in when it still looks like the state it does? But I need to repair it because over the years where the fire service have screwed all sorts of things into it, like microphones, and I might add, not the same microphones as Jess uses.
God, Jesus, John.
But yeah, I filled the holes with plastic filler, and then I'm just checking now to make sure I've got them all. And what we're going to do is we're going to rub it down and we're going to raptor it, because I've seen a few dashes that have been raptored and they look beautiful. Now, when I say plastic filler, I mean a cable tie and a soldering iron. And all I do is just melt the cable tie into the holes. And it's really good for the little holes, but also I was quite surprised how well it did on the big ones as well. That one there was a 20mm diameter hole, and it's filled that a treat. So once we've sprayed them all up, they'll look brilliant. But that hole at the bottom there was a bit too big to fill. So we normally have Tool Talk Tuesday. Well, let's have 3D Print Thursday, because I made that plate up last night, and that's just going to go on there like that to cover that up. And then also this hole at the top is where the ashtray went. Real small, real narrow, rubbish. I'm gonna have that little beauty on there. Look at that. I printed that up last night. TBT Custom Build 2024. It's gonna be pride of place on the front of the dash there.
And just a little reminder, when you're raptoring, if you're doing any plastics, make sure you use an adhesive promoter first. So while we wait for the dash to dry, we're going to get on with installing the plumbing system, and we can finally commission my sexy tanks. And as part of that, we're going to install a water filtration system. Now, we didn't have one on the first Sprinter that we built that we took to Europe. We kept our drinking water and our everyday use water separate, which is a bit of a pain in the bum for two reasons. First is you have to find somewhere to fill up the drinking water or buy it, and you have to find somewhere to store it. And the second is you're always a little bit cautious when you're washing your salad or you're brushing your teeth, which water you should be using. So when we built the Defender, I came up with a water filtration system. We really put it to the test because we used it in Morocco and we filled up at just about any spot that we found. And I get sick by looking at something that could be a little bit wonky, and I was absolutely fine the whole time. Now, when I was doing my research for this, I found a few different products that I ruled out. First is your multi-stage system, and that's because they're massive and space is a premium in your camper. Next is your reverse osmosis systems, and you get loads of wastewater with them, so they were a no-go. Others give you really poor pressure, which is never going to work with my mane of a mop of hair. And the others were up to $1,000, which, let's be honest, we're tight ass, that's not going to happen. But this system cost us £284 and it works a treat. So winner, winner, chicken dinner. Now the first part of the system is this UD PAC filter, and it filters out 99.99% of all of your nasties, and it doesn't slow down your flow rate. Now the only negative I found to this system so far is when you drain your water down for the winter, this filter housing here doesn't automatically drain. You have to take it out and do it manually, and remember to do it because otherwise you risk freezing and cracking. The other parts of this system is our UV lamp. Now, this kills all the nasties that might slip through this, and it comes with a flow switch, which means it doesn't draw power unless it's actually in use. But this one is an upgrade to the one that we put in the Sainsbury's van and in the Defender for a couple of reasons. First is you can see the size difference. It's less than half the size. It's also got LED lamps in it, so it only uses 5 watts of power and lasts for 8 years. There's also no breakable parts in it, so we don't have to worry about that when we're going on off-road terrain, and you don't have to change any lamps or sleeves in it like we do with the others. Well, the plumbing system is in, we just need to get it wired up, but all we've got is a little pre-filter before our pump, and then we use the JG Speed Fit fittings, just the 15mm size, and the lay flat pipe, try and say that fast, because it's so much more flexible. Now we use these, one, because they're easy and reliable, but two, if we've got any trouble, we can find bits for them all around the world. And then obviously it goes into our filtration system. Now I have to admit, I didn't come up with this all on my own. While I was doing my research, I found a company called Direct Water Filters, and the owner there, John, is an absolute legend. He spent so long with me figuring out how to do this when we did it in the Landy. I lost count of the number of times I called him. So I'll put a link to them in the description. If you need any help, I highly recommend using them. And the other thing I wanted to tell you just about this filter housing is that it's made for household. So you'll see it does have a bit of flex in it. So we just put an extra little bracket at the bottom just to secure it as an extra bit of safety while you're on the road. Well, John's got her wired up this morning, so it's a moment of truth.
Now I'm fully confident that this won't leak, but the towel is just there, just in case.
All right, are we ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh.
You got to turn the pump on.
Turn the pump on. Turn the pump on. Oh. It's pumping. This is the slowest anticlimaxy thing ever.
She's going, she's going.
She's going. There's water going in the filter.
Oh, no leaks yet.
Oh. Here we go, here we go. We've got water, we've got water.
Right, switch it off then.
Switch off. Switch off. Any leaks?
Well, I think we can call that
Great success.
a great success.
Very nice. Why am I Borat?
Now, as Borat would say, that is very nice. But why were you Borat anyway?
I don't really know, but I think for those plumbing skills, you might deserve some sexy time.
You put me off track now. 3D printing. Anyways, back to some 3D printing, because I've done another one, and I know you're probably sick of hearing me say about this, but honestly, when I got it, I thought, yeah, I'll be able to do some cool things with it, but I never thought it'd be as handy as it has been, because this water tank level gauge that I've got, on the back of it, it's got like a circuit control board, so it's really proud. So without recessing it into the wood, which I can't do where it's going to go, it's not going to work. So I made this little beauty up, look. So I've cut the hole out in the top for the wire to go through, and the bit at the bottom for the bit at the bottom of the circuit board. So that goes on there. Now, I'm not that trick yet. I haven't done the holes in the corners, but when that plastic cover goes on there, like that, it fits absolutely perfect that way, and then it's just spaced off the wall. So it works a treat, because I think these are built for like motorhomes and things like that, go into the normal standard panels, but yeah, over the moon. And then I've got all the electrics looking a bit neater than last time I saw you. So I've got the 12 volt fuse panel in with all the wires running through the back so you can't see them. And then the battery monitor, the inverter switch, all the trip switches, and then all the cables nice and neat. But I wanted to show you these little beauties, a bit of cable management. Now, sometimes you obviously have to drill a hole through the floor, through the side of the van for things like compressor or night heater. You don't want it rubbing on the metal, but you want it to seal. And I couldn't find anything decent until I come across these. And what I like about these is you cut the hole that size, you then feed this lip through, and then it seals on both sides. So it's real good for weather tight, but also it's different size holes. So if you want a few cables going through, you just obviously use that one. But then if you've got a load, you just cut it down, and then you can have a load going through, chuck a cable tie over the top, clamp it up, and then it's nice and sealed. So they come in a few different sizes. They're called
Outboard Motor Witches hats.
Get them off eBay, £10 a piece. Brilliant bits of kit for the camper van. And whilst we're on about electrics, I thought I'd show you my new tool purchase of the week, some RJ45 crimp connectors. Now, if you're not an electrician and like me and never changed one before and don't know what it was, well, it's basically just an Ethernet cable plug, like on your phone line or your computers and things like that. And when you get some of these Bluetooth sensors for like your energy gear and that, it comes with all that cable, which sometimes is handy, but like this time, I only want it to be about that long. Now, normally what I do is I just ravel it up, cable tie it up and stick it out of the way, but it just doesn't look very neat. So what you do is you get these crimp connectors and some blank plugs, and then all you do is you just cut the wire on the cable, and then you separate the colours out to go down the right hole in the plug, and then you just crimp the plug up. Job's a good one.
And I wanted to show you how the old Raptor rings come up. Look how sexy these look. I have to say, I'm so impressed with the Raptor. If you've got any plastics that need doing up, definitely recommend it. But we can't fit them this week because you're supposed to give it 72 hours to harden. So that's going to have to be a job for next week.
What are you covering there as well, Jess?
My big belly.
Jess isn't pregnant. Show them what you've done. Now, everybody might think it's beautiful weather because the sun's out, but Jess is Australian. She doesn't like the cold, so...
So we take off the snow coat and then we take off the body warmer. This isn't seductive, by the way. And then, ta-da! Heat pack.
And then how many jumpers you got on?
Only one today, only a big hoodie. So, but I have discovered as well, I've got this one up a little bit higher, but also the old belly pocket, that little hand pocket on your hoodies, perfect for the old heat pack look.
What are you going to be like when we're in Canada?
Oh, I wear so many things. I look like Bayamax? I don't know, sumo wrestler style.
So now I've got the electrics installed, I can hook up the solar on the roof. But before I do that, if you look along the edge there, where the plastic and the solar panel is, it's not really a nice edge. So what I've done is I've got this bit of aluminium folded up, nice little bit of trim, and I'm going to fit that on there to cover it, but also it will stop any branches or any wind from getting underneath the solar panel on the corners and damaging them or peeling them off. And then I've done the same again this side, but I made it ever so slightly taller, because what it's going to do, go over like that, cover the edge nicely, but then the wiring can tuck underneath like that, and then I've drilled holes in the top so I can cable tie the wiring underneath so it looks nice and neat, secure it, and then also if I've got any branches that I go through, there's less likely for the branches to get in and rip the cables out. Well, the solar is officially done, and just in time for the old sun to come out. Look, but what do you think? I'm over the moon with how it's come out, to be honest. Real nice and neat along that side, and then that side you can hardly notice it either. And then on the front here, what I've had to do, because this roof tilts, I've just had to bring it in, secure it onto the roof there, and then come down into all the branches and the inline fuses. So what I might do is put a little aluminium plate just over the top there, so it just covers them up again. But I didn't want to put them on the roof where they'd be all bulky, so it looks nice and neat there. And then with the solar panels, normally they come with a load of extra cable, and I haven't worked out how to get the terminals out of the MC4 connectors. I think they're like a one-time use only. But you can get new connectors and new terminals as well. So that's what I normally do. Just cut the wires down, crimp new terminals on, and obviously fit new plugs. And I definitely recommend getting the cheap terminal crimp connectors. I've got a set of the ratchet ones, but to be honest, these work even better. Now, we're going to have to leave it there because the sun's going away and the clouds are coming in. But hopefully next week we can get the dash in, the seats in, and the cab all finished. So that'll be good. But thanks ever so much for... But Jess thinks I'm doing a rubbish job here. I tell you what, you do it. Go on, you finish it.
Thanks ever so much for watching, everybody. And don't forget about that Surfshark link in the description. See you next week.
Same again with loads of extra...
So you sound like you hate life.
Oh, it's like you're saying that.
Well, stop sounding like you hate life. Go again then.
You got the bug mesh in all the windows.
No. Wait.
And then last...
Like you like life. Your voice is weird as well. Clear your throat. Want to put that light on as well, just to clear your throat?
It's fine.
It's not. Your voice sounds weird.
Well, it's your ears, maybe.
Right, I give up. No, I'm not giving up.
And whilst we're on about electrics, I thought... And whilst we're on about electrics, I thought you...
I just passed.
You go... You keep putting me on because you pull your face.
It's not serious. Don't take it so serious. No, unfortunately... Now we ran out of daylight. Why are they poo coloured? The pop rivet heads are... Pop rivet heads? Pop rivet heads? Can I give them to Brian for a toy? Oh, no. Well... Oh, John, these are truly awful. All right. I feel like I'm a mechanic, look. Don't stick it in yet.
Don't stick it in yet?
Don't stick it in yet.
Dream team.
Dream team.